Chapter 1799 Space Shock. Gui looked at Zhang Yi and others who suddenly appeared in front of him, standing silently in place. But behind him, the earth suddenly roared. The huge army of mechanical life forms rushed here like a torrent of steel. Seeing tens of thousands of mechanical life forms, Liang Yu said nothing, just raised the dragon roar with his thumb. Zheng. With a sound, the cold edge of the blade was exposed. They have mastered the means to fight against the defensive force field, so this battle will not be as strenuous as before. What's more, even if Zhang Yi is not counted, there are still 4 Epsilon-level combat forces here. But then, an amazing change happened in front of him. Boom. Boom. The shaking of the earth became more and more intense, and then 4 super-large mechanical life forms crawled out from under the ground again. A total of 5 super-large mechanical life forms occupied all the vision of Zhang Yi and others. The 5 huge mechanical platforms stood in front of them, like a steel city. Deng Shintong's pupils couldn't help but dilate and then shrink. How come so many super-large mechanical life forms suddenly appeared? These super-large mechanical life forms all have combat power comparable to the Epsilon level. Even if there is a way to crack their defense field, their own strength should not be underestimated. Zhang Yi said lightly, all this is just expected. After seeing the image of the battle in Karen City, Zhang Yi has maximized the combat power of the mechanical army in his mind. So he didn't panic at all. Kuran. Zhang Yi called Lu Kuran's name. Private Lu Kuran, step out. Loyalty Chung. Lu Kuran looked eccentric, stood out in camouflage combat uniforms, and saluted Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi smiled and said, it's finally time for you to show your skills. Lu Kuran nodded, and then Zhang Yi took the snow owl mecha out of the alien space, and Lu Kuran entered the cockpit. Deng Shintong said puzzledly, Chaos, you let Mississippi Lu drive this cute little thing to fight those 5 huge monsters? Do you two have any conflicts? No wonder Deng Shintong felt that Zhang Yi and Lu Karen had a grudge. Although he had seen the power of the snowy owl, he knew even more how terrible these super-large mechanical life forms were. 1-on-1, there might be room for maneuver. But 1-on-5, fighting with your head? Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows and said to Deng Shintong, Excuse me, who told you that the snowy owl is a little thing? He sneered. Do you think that I have spent a lot of resources, invested in an entire aircraft carrier battle group and countless precious materials to build a mecha, so it is so vulnerable? Although Zhang Yi was smiling, there was still a look of pain on his face. Because he agreed to build a super mecha for Lu Karen, he did consume a lot of materials. And the damage and repair after the battle is another large amount of materials. Even he can't turn a blind eye. Deng Shintong was still puzzled, but Zhang Yi said nothing. A huge pillar slowly emerged from the dimensional gate. Deng Shintong looked at the steel pillar. At first, he didn't know what it was. He just felt that its structure was very sophisticated. But as it slowly revealed its full appearance, Deng Shintong's eyes widened. A large snowy owl. It was a super-large mecha that was more than 300 meters tall, but looked delicate and light. This. Deng Shintong was stunned. The members of the Fuying force had never seen this thing before, and their eyes were about to jump out of their sockets. Zhang Yi said, no one really thinks that something 5 meters high can be called a mecha? It's just a light combat mecha. And the real battlefield-destroying mecha is this. Zhang Yi looked up at the huge snowy owl. This is the real war machine. Even Gui saw this huge mecha, and his eyes showed surprise. The level of civilization is rising, he murmured in a low voice. Help Kuran to deal with those mechanical legions. Let me deal with this guy. Zhang Yi gave the order again, because he had seen Gui about to attack. The dimensional gates open layer by layer, directly sending everyone away from the spot. The huge scorpion tail behind Gui aimed at Zhang Yi, and the red crystals emitted dazzling light. Then a terrifying energy cannon instantly penetrated the space and shot at Zhang Yi. The whole sky was reflected in red, but Zhang Yi did not move at all. The dimensional gate of the universe blocked in front of him and absorbed all the huge energy. Very strong. Zhang Yi made a judgment. but it is within the absorption range. All the energy was swallowed up cleanly. Seeing the scene, Gue finally showed a different look. It should be as easy for a superior creature to crush a lower creature as a human crushing an ant. But this time, he was blocked by the opponent. It's not over yet. Zhang Yi opened his palm towards him. Fight back. How did the energy cannon shoot? The next. How did it bounce back from the dimensional gate in an instant? Gue raised his left hand, and an invisible wall instantly unfolded in front of him, completely blocking this force. In the first fight, both of them used their defense capabilities to the fullest, and neither of them took any advantage. But not far away, the Fueying troops and other aliens had already fought with the mechanical army. Liu Karen drove the giant snow owl and directly fought with 5 super-large mechanical life forms in close combat. The engineering-type, super-large mechanical life forms were not prepared for special combat, so their flexibility was not high enough. The snow owl would not be stupid enough to rush into the middle of the 5 super-large mechanical life forms, but chose one to fight directly in close combat. The defensive force field completely lost its effect when facing the steel-boned iron fist. The snow owl aimed its fist at its joints and punched it hard one after another. Boom. After a few punches, one of the mechanical arms of the super-large mechanical life form was directly broken from the shoulder. Then it grabbed the other mechanical arm of the super-large mechanical life form with one arm, and the energy furnace in its chest began to condense a powerful meta-energy cannon. The super-large mechanical life form sensed the energy attack and immediately formed a defensive force field in front of it. Liu Karen sat in the cab, excited, and kept operating with both hands, as if typing on a keyboard. Just waiting for you. 2 missiles shot out from the shoulders of the giant snow owl, causing an explosion near the defensive force field, releasing a shockwave of anti-defense force field, instantly tearing it apart. Then, the meta-energy cannon fired directly at its head. This scene was like stuffing a gun barrel into its mouth. The close-range explosion instantly shattered the torso of the super-large mechanical life form, and metal debris flew everywhere. Boom. 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 Behind it, the attacks of other super-large mechanical life forms came and fell heavily on the back of the giant snow owl. The giant snow owl shook violently, but the damage to its back was not very large. As Liu Karen's masterpiece, the battlefield super-large robot, its defensibility can withstand the direct bombardment of missiles. The giant snowy owl threw the half-wasted super-large mechanical life form with force, and with a boom, it collapsed to the ground, splashing smoke and dust. The snowy owl raised its right arm high, and a long blade popped out from its arm, and with a click, it pierced through its torso. Liu Karen had studied these super-large mechanical life forms for such a long time that she had already studied their combat rules and flaws clearly. So she destroyed one without any effort. And around them, Liang Yu, Huahua, and Deng Shintong were not idle either, flying across the battlefield, destroying one mechanical life form after another at the fastest speed. Zhang Yi was not worried about the battle over there at all, as they had studied all other types of mechanical life forms thoroughly. Only the humanoid black demon in front of him was still unclear about its true details. In his left eye, the ability of the time-second hand had been activated. Unlike the prophet Emperor Shirtian, Emperor Shirtian's ability was to predict and spy on people, but for non-living things his ability lost its effect. But Zhang Yi's second hand of time can foresee everything that will happen in the next 3 seconds. Therefore, he can accurately judge the opponent's next attack. Gui's first attack failed, which surprised him a little, but then he raised the curved blade in his hand, and the red energy crystal gradually burst into dazzling light, and then he chopped Zhang Yi hard. A stronger force than before suddenly broke out, and the huge red torrent was like the sky breaking apart, and the Tianhe rushed down from the sky. Zhang Yi stood still, and this powerful attack still did not cause any cracks in the universe. The attack power is good. In terms of the strength of the attack alone, it may have reached the level of 32,000 points. However, this alone is not enough to break my defense. Zhang Yi had basically figured it out in his mind. After Gui's attack ended, he also started his counterattack. He just raised his hand and clenched it hard at Goe. God's domain purification. Indiscriminate attack. Without any signs of attack in advance, there is no way to break this move except to resist it. With one move, the space around Goe seemed to be tightly grasped by a big hand, squeezing hard towards the middle. Zhang Yi saw that his body suddenly changed a little, and it really seemed like he was being grasped by a giant. But the next moment, the red crystals on his body burst into a strong light. Goe struggled hard. He broke free from the power that bound his body. The defense is also very strong. No wonder the pantheon of Fremons is helpless. It is an integrated offense and defense, and there is almost no obvious weakness. He smiled faintly, but I don't believe you really have no weaknesses. The divine bracelet on his right hand instantly turned into two big guns, which were held in Zhang Yi's palm. The void black hole appeared behind him, and the powerful void power spread to the gun body, dyeing it black. The next moment, a surging rain of bullets shot towards Goe. Facing Zhang Yi's attack, Goe made a charge, and all the bullets in front of him were completely blocked by the invisible defense field. Goe's figure turned into a dark afterimage, rushing down towards Zhang Yi at an incredible speed, and then began to attack fiercely around Zhang Yi's huge barrier of all things. The red energy was like a long snake, whipping all things frantically, trying to find Zhang Yi's flaws.
And Zhang
Yi stood still and replaced the bullets in his hand. This time, it was no longer an energy bullet, but a physical holy silver bullet. Ping ping pong pong. The holy silver bullet shot at the defensive force field of Goe, who had turned into a residual image, and fell one after another. The combat-type defensive force field is indeed different from the engineering-type mechanical life form. It can not only block energy attacks, but also physical attacks. Zhang Yi frowned slightly. The opponent was very fast, but he could predict his next move by using the second hand of time. He opened the magazine, poured out all the holy silver bullets, and then replaced some of the bullets, shield-breaking spear specially made by Lu Kuran to deal with the defensive force field. It can create a special energy field to break the energy field of the defensive force field. There is a shield-breaking spear in between every 3 holy silver bullets. The other gun only uses pure energy bullets to attack. In this way, Zhang Yi's attack at the same time can produce 3 different effects. Zhang Yi changed the bullets in seconds, and then quickly raised the gun to continue attacking. Goe was looking for his flaws, and he was also looking for Goe's flaws. The blood-colored energy turned into a long snake, whipping at the border of the 10,000 things. Zhang Yi's 2 guns also poured out a rain of light, locking on Goe's position and firing continuously. The shield-breaking spear hit Goe's defensive force field, releasing a reaction energy field, which directly caused a hole in his defensive force field. This also allowed the holy silver bullet and the energy bullet to pass through the hole and shoot at Goe. Ding ding dang dang. Zhang Yi heard the sound of metal collision. His eyes became sharp, and a smile rose at the corner of his mouth. The shield-breaking spear really had an effect on Goe's defensive force field. Goe's attack stopped immediately, and he retreated to a place several kilometers away from Zhang Yi. The bullets just shot at him, although only a small part, but also left white spots on his body. Just now, that was just the beginning, and the next thing is the real show, Zhang Yi said slowly. It was just a test before, and he would not use all his strength. But now that he has found the opponent's flaw, he will use 100% of his strength in the next attack. Goe stared at Zhang Yi, and finally his eyes became solemn. For the first time, he held the strange black blade like a scorpion's claws with both hands and pointed the tip of the blade at Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi had just replaced the bullets for Xinlian, the holy silver bullets, with expensive and terrifying nuclear bullets. At this time, he saw a phenomenon that shocked him. An invisible energy wave burst out from Goe's blade and hit his Sinluo Wanxiang. And then, his dimensional gate shook like a stone thrown into the lake.